Hi everyone, Nisha here, life coach for liberatory dreamers and leaders, and I'm here to talk about if self-expression is self-indulgent while this world is on fire. I am in LA right now. It is January 10th when I'm recording this, and there are fires around me, like literal fires, several of them, and I am safe. I am on watch for any evacuation notices, but I've had a lot of time to reflect this week as I have had to remain vigilant about what is happening around me. I have had to really think about, what's important to me. And I've reflected on my life. I have had to move through a lot of stuff in my body, panic, thinking about, am I safe? Am I not safe? And one thing I'm so grateful for is that I have so many somatic practices and care practices through the work I do and the training I've received that has been tremendously supportive for me. And one of the ways that I resource myself is through writing. I started writing more seriously in my early 30s after my dad died and I got divorced. Those were two big losses in my life, and writing became something that made me think like maybe I could actually like do this. I'd always enjoyed writing when I was younger. I liked writing papers. I always said in college I'd rather write a paper than take a test, but I never actually thought like, oh, I could be a writer. And writing really is my self-expression. And I think so often, when we are living in this world and we have privilege in some way, whether that's through gender, race, class, especially, we can often feel when terrible things like these fires or the genocide in Palestine, Sudan, Congo, people, I'm thinking about people who are disabled living in Los Angeles, and just during, any type of climate crisis that arises, that has happened before and will continue to happen because this is truly only the beginning. How disabled folks, will often be left behind, unfortunately. And I just think about how many marginalized people are out there, and I'm here thinking about my self-expression. Like, how fucking privileged is it to think about how I express myself when so many awful things are happening in the world, and as the climate crisis climbs and accelerates. And I'm here to say that I have asked myself this question too. Like, who do I think I am to be like, but I want to write, But one thing that I've noticed as I've seen all these videos come out of Gaza, as I've, watched like dystopian films and all these things, is that joy and expression is what resources people. And also, what self-expression does is it allows you to be you. And when there are crises that you have to face, whether that's confrontation with someone you love, a conflict, whether that's there's a fire and you might have to evacuate, when you are connected to the things, the ways that you express yourself, you are more aligned to express yourself for what you need, for who you are, for what your boundaries need to be. Self-expression, whether that's through art or writing or speaking, whatever it might be, is so important, because self-expression is also not just, writing a story or painting a flower. It's taking what's inside your body, which is the earth, and putting it out there. Your body, which holds emotions and sensations, and offering it to the world. It's a gift. It is a gift. And that is why your self-expression is not indulgent. Because would you say to a flower to stop blooming because, there's all these other things happening in the world? Would you tell any non-human piece of the earth to not do what it does? Now you might say, yeah, I want these fires to stop. That's an earthly thing, yes, and that is 100% fueled by the climate crisis, by fossil fuel companies, by the ways that humans have extracted from the earth without regarding its relationship. So that comes full circle to what is our relationship to our expression, because we have not regarded how we, meaning the global we, and really it's the elites who have extracted from the earth and have created these systems of control like capitalism, colonialism, classism, ableism, patriarchy, that have put all of us in positions to feel like we need to like you know, move up in the world, whatever up means. And I think that's part of the problem, is that there's this hierarchy we feel like we have to be in, as opposed to being like a network of people who all have different roles and do different things. And none of us deserves more of this world than anybody else. And when we connect to our expression, it is us truly, truly offering what we have to the world, because what you don't express, you suppress. And when you suppress things in your body, that impacts relationships in your lives, in relationships with other people. Let's say that you were someone who did evacuate during the LA fires. Let's say you're someone who has gone through war or famine. You've been unhoused. How we react in those instances and how we connect to our body and our expression impacts any type of conversation that we have, any type of exchange that we have, any type of decision that we make. And the decisions that we make as things accelerate in this world towards, unfortunately, a very dystopian reality, is going to be essential in how the world is shaped. So finding your self-expression isn't self-indulgent, it's actually relational. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'd love to hear any questions or comments you have. I also feel that, as a person who connects to their body a lot, and I have a workshop coming up, and you can see it in the comments here about what that is. I think that, writing is great, but we also need to connect to our bodies. When we express ourselves, we have to also understand what's happening in our bodies. Are we only expressing through a trauma response? And I think this is a very important part of this video. It's not just that we write whatever and draw whatever and don't care about the relationships we have with others. We have to care about the relationship we have with our body and what's happening in there before we project those expressions on other people without regard for how we might impact or harm them. So all of this is really, really important. And that's why self-expression always has to include how we relate to our body, because how we relate to the body impacts how we relate to other people in the world and the earth. So yeah, feel free to drop any questions or comments. I would love to hear them. Please do come to my workshop. It's called Writing as Your Healing Practice, a workshop to rewrite your relationships in a dystopian world, on January 21st. I'd love to see you there, and I hope you take care.